for just being such great supporters. You come out, pandemic. Hopefully it's been a safe,
Another couple weeks.
socially distanced story for everybody. Thank you for your support. Those of you that came to my table and got things, I'm still shocked. Every time I come out and I do a convention, it frankly blows my mind. You know, your life is a collection of chapters. Hopefully some are better than others, but we learn along the way. This is a chapter in my life that I look back, it's just shocking to me. And then what adds to the shock of it all is what happened after I was involved. So I had my moment, and then after me, all these people, and then the evolution of this brand to where it is today, it shocks me. I still can't believe I'm part of it. And of course, everybody flatters me so much when they want to collect memorabilia with my name on it, and I'm in this family of Jasons. So anyway, in this time we spend together here, we can talk a little bit about Friday the 13th, but you all are more experts on the brand than I am. You follow it, you know it, you support people in the brand. So we can talk a little bit about Friday the 13th, and then we could segue into a moment about a movie I'm producing. And we could discuss some of the elements within that. You could understand why I'm doing it, and the potential that I recognize with it. And what would it really take to get it done? Because your life really is a series of challenges. Don't make easy challenges for yourself, maybe make big ones. And whether or not you get them or not, it's the journey, it's the challenge. Could we make it happen? I've had multiple careers, so I don't really know. After I did the Friday 13th story, I gave up acting for a while and went to Wall Street. And I got licensed as an investment banker, Series 7, Series 5, Series 63. I had a great journey on Wall Street. And then I had enough of that somehow, then I ended up in real estate and doing a bunch of real estate transactions, Berkshire Hathaway and my own stuff, and distressed property. Anyway, we just keep following the dream. Then I come out here, and every time I come to a convention, see the people like yourselves, share the dream, talk about that chapter that was way the hell back here. And everybody asks me, how old are you? I go, I don't know. Because I constantly lie about my age, but then they say, well, how old were you when you did that? Then what really makes you feel old is when they start telling you the brand is closing in on its 40th birthday. What? How old was I? Well, when did Friday 13th Part 2 come out? When did it come out? Oh, I don't know, maybe in the late 80s, no, maybe 85. I think in reality, the goddamn film, you know more than I do, but the film probably come out in 1980, 81. I think let's call it 82, because I know the first one with Kevin Bacon and the crew, I know that come out in 1980. And I'm in New York City. I thought it was going to be the break of my life. And I'm in Lee Strasberg, and I'm thinking I'm going to be this great new actor, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm getting agents. Then the Jason role evolved. I was originally, so I got the agent submitted me. I was really reading for the John Fury part. You know, the All-American dude, he's the counselor at the camp. I don't know what happened. They fine, they went with him, all fine. I was young. I still am young. Anyhow, and then that's how Jason, they said, well, would you like to be Jason? Well, that was a strange conversation to have. Will you be Jason? Because we didn't really know anything about him at that time. I mean, he arose out of the lake, right? And then what, Part 2? Well, what's he have to do? Give me the script. I don't know. And then I'm looking for all this great dialogue and relationships and things going on with Jason. Didn't happen. What? Then it became a conversation of stunts. Will you shave your head? Oh, that's a great thing to do for a young man living in New York. Yeah, let's shave my head. Great idea. For what? To play Jason? Jason who? My script says Jason on it. It did not say Friday the 13th. My original script, which I still have. And if anybody wants a copy of the original one, that's cool to have. But anyway, so the journey begins, and I forgot who the casting director was, but I do recall it was Georgetown Productions. And next thing you know, I'm meeting Steve Miner, I'm meeting Frank Mancuso Jr., his father was president of Paramount. I'm in New York, I'm like, okay, this is great, I got a break. Everybody wants a break. And then all your good-looking friends are getting booked with models and this and models and that, and they're working at Zoli and Eileen Ford, and they're all getting booked and how gorgeous they are, and then you're plodding along. And then here comes the Jason part. Anyhow, so then you go on with the process, and that was the beginning of it. So then, yeah, you're cast. So then, yes, and then you end up at the Camp Crystal Lake, which was fun. You're living in these little cabins. All the kids up there were fabulous. The girls were fabulous. All young kids, all at camp, having a great time. So that was fun for me. Go live in a camp in Kent, Connecticut, and we're making a movie? Great. And what's the budget? $1 million. Great. Are we gonna blow 30 grand a day? Okay. And in those days, you were never allowed to see the dailies of a film. Where today, if you do something, you go right to the monitor and you see what you did. So here, let me play you this clip. And then we can talk more about the movie. And then we can talk about Bloody Social. But I can't get the image up there, so maybe we can see it here.
Hi, I'm Warrington, Gillette. I'm Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th, Part 2. And I'm coming to Days of the Dead. Indianapolis, July 17th, July 19th. You be there. Come by. Looking forward to seeing the best Dead fans. You come by. We'll have machetes, masks, memorabilia. And keep your distance and be safe. And stay out of the woods.
And there's something odd with that date. That's my father's birthday. And the essence of Bloody Social, which we'll talk about in the future, when we're finished with talking about this, it's revolving around his story. But anyhow, I did this for Bill. Bill loved it. He put it on his website. Everybody saw it. I put it on my Instagram site, which is Jason2 Warrington. So please go there. You can talk to me there. And I put that up. So what else can I tell you about I was worried getting in that water and then tromping out of the water, because there are gators all in this water. In South Florida, they all live in that water. So this would be great. I'm tromping around this goddamn water trying to look like it's Crystal Lake, and let's say a gator comes after me. Then what? That would be a stupid story, but I'm worried it was killed. So, to go back to the set, and so everybody's doing things, and it's all happening very quickly. I had never been in a movie before. My work as a stuntman was limited because, like I told you before, I was young. And there's nobody that young that is a seasoned stuntman of doing things. Okay? So whether they're gonna film you walk through the woods, fine. Gonna do this, fine. Gonna throw a machete at Tom McBride, and he goes backwards down the staircase. Like, okay. And they're filming and they're cutting. And like I said, you don't see dailies. They keep that to themselves, and I believe they have to develop the film, and they make a print, and they look at that. Then they figure out. So in this story, they did all the hardest stuff first. And a guy, you get a SAG minimum wage to be there, a day scale. So they were figuring out cutting costs. The makeup artist, special effects guy, he did a great job with this. We would sit in the makeup chair 8 hours for him to do that, which was huge. Put a young guy in a chair, start at noon, and we're filming when it got dark. So you're living your days opposite, which is unusual. And then you can't eat because you have all these dentures in your mouth that were created of all these horrific problems that people have in the oral problems. They made that. Jason, you got all the beer, and and the most painful part was closing your eye off. If you close an eye off, you lose depth perception immediately. So I have high respect for people that have one eye. I don't know how they do it. But you don't know how far things are away. So yeah, so the stunt, I was calculating if this was the window, you'd have to back up 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. So I knew, like jumping a horse over a fence. You know you're going through the window. 1, you have 3, you're taking off. So then you back up 2, 1, 2. They had a platform outside the house. So like a horse, you get in sync, and then boom, 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 you take off. If you're late, you'll hit the fence. If you're too early, you won't make it. So you got it's timing, boom. And we did it about 15 times. So yes, that was the first window jump I did. And no, I've never done one since. I did go to Hollywood Stunt School for fun, see what would happen. And they're teaching all stuff, fighting and this and swinging and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Just having your resume was fun. But anyhow, we got through it all. Then the issue with Steve Dash, who also shares the role with me. I left the camp after they had used me in everything they wanted me to do. I know for a fact there might have been some more dangerous stuff. They wanted a bigger, stronger guy than me. So up comes Steve Dash. I never knew him, I never met him, and nothing. And subsequent to all of this, I never even knew him for 10 years. I went on with my life. We didn't talk about this. I'm working on Wall Street. All of a sudden, 7 years later, they're probably up to part 6. Where are all the Jasons today? So then all the Jasons started coming together. Like, who are all the guys that play Jason? And I'm going to put a film clip on my Instagram that's a really fun. We were on ABC Good Morning America with CJ Graham and I. And we're talking about Friday 13th. Well, Good Morning America. Now the thing is starting to build up steam as a formidable brand in American history, which it is today. It's huge. It's a legacy. It's iconic. So anyway, so let's go back to the thing. So I went through the thing, I leave, and that was the end of the conversation. I had not seen some of those people ever again. I've never seen Steve Miner ever again. The most fun of this whole brand for me was the premiere. We did it in New York City. We'll go back to the date. I believe it was 82. And one of my friends was doing PR work. Oh, and he had a best friendship with Andy Warhol. So then he says, Andy, you got to come with all of us and Jason, and we're all coming to the premiere. So now we got a car. We're going to the premiere. It was the Lowe's on 84th Street, New York. That great 84th Lowe's. Anyway, we all go in there. Warhol's all in there. Then I had the after party. We saw the film. That was the first time I'd seen it. Like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It was just ridiculous. Then we go to the after party. We're all hanging out. So to me, that was the most fun of the whole thing, aside from doing it and being able to work in a film. And the dumbest mistake I made related to this brand is I didn't say to Andy Warhol, will you do me an acrylic on canvas, please, of Jason, like doing something crazy? Because if he did it at that time, and he was unknown at that time, I thought he was an idiot. He was a guy putting Campbell soup cans on the wall. I'm like, what the hell? I mean, you know, today, obviously an acrylic on canvas would be worth many millions. I know the triple-headed Elvis that he made, it's worth maybe 40, 50 million. So anyway, Andy, I don't know if you know him or not, I don't know who he is, but he was a pop artist, got very famous with his work. He's now deceased. But anyhow, Andy's with me. We had the premiere, and can you hear me okay? Yeah. Okay, so listen, so it is what it is. I'm excited to be part of this brand. It seems to be gaining strength. I mean, I am flattered. All of you here and getting memorabilia and, you know, machetes and things, and children come to me. That's my most fun of the whole thing. I have all these children, they're collecting too. So anyway, why don't I open up some questions for you all, and then when we get done with that, then I can segue in and tell you about the Bloody Social movie project and what that is and why I put that together. So please, I don't want to rattle on. It was an amazing experience. I'm like, it's a chapter of my life. I'm happy to be part of this brand. It's shocking to me. Shocking. And you know, you could do a convention in Sweden or Birmingham, England. And, I mean, Germany. Germans love horror. You could go do a thing in Germany. I mean, the horror fans come out deep. Shocking. So you all can ask me anything you want about Jason, Friday 13th, and I'll see if I can answer it. Yes, sir.
How many takes was the window scene? And how was that done as far as the glass goes? I mean, did you make it jump?
Yeah, okay. And this, everybody asks me this question, and it's a controversial question, but I know for a fact what happened. I was there, okay? And there was nothing fancy. And there was no winch or crane on that set. There's no crane sticking up. And I don't even know what a swing thing is. I've never seen one. I've never been on a movie set where there's an arc and a swing and a winch and a guy hooked up with his ass with a wire and then he's arced into something. No. This was low budget. Okay, I told you, it was $1 million film. Answer your question. The house had a platform built on the exterior of the house. It was about, let's say this is the edge of the house. And this is the window. Okay, it was wood, actual wood, and then you score the boards of wood, so you cut through about half of it. So it's not gonna fall. You're gonna hit it hard to break it. Okay, and then the platform is over here. It's like this wide. They're not building you a runway. They're like 6 feet. So you better time yourself. I told you before, 2 steps. Boom, 1, 2, or however long, and you better get ready. First time I hit it, I ricocheted off of it. And then they're angry at me because what? You don't know what the hell you're doing. Well, no, sir, I've never done a stunt like this before. No, I never jumped through a window before. No, sorry.
With one eye.
With one eye. And I'm not feeling good too, because it's just shit's been going on all day. And now it's at night. I'm like, oh God. And you're in the woods, and you're by yourself, and everybody leaves, and they go off to eat, and then they come back, and you're sitting in the woods by yourself going, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Okay? So, to answer your question, we probably did it 15 times. This went on, and then every time you hit it, then they put a brand new wooden thing in. The glass was thin plexiglass, very thin. And when you hit it hard enough, it's going to shatter everywhere, and the wood's going to blow everywhere because you hit it and you busted it. And I was not the size I am today. I was not, 6'1". No, so, whatever. I'm still always a good athlete, so I hit it, and it flies all over. And so they want me to do it with no protection on the other eye. So now there's plexiglass going everywhere. There's shards going in your skin, and you're bleeding. And then they got clotted blood here, where the blade is sticking out.
Okay.
And then they had loose blood going everywhere that they were pumping through. So then you got loose blood, clotted blood, and your own blood.
Okay.
Great. And your face is like, you're a mess. And you look at the poster in front of my table, you'll see it's like, this guy's drooling, this guy's not happy, this guy's upset. Anyway, it went on and on and on, and you basically work until the sun comes up. And if you have lunch at midnight, and you're living in reverse, and then you take a day off, then you do it again. And then you do something else, then you do something else. And then finally, I told you before, they're not going to pay me $1,000 a day to walk through the woods like Carl Fullerton walked through, or Steve Miner going to walk through. So they used me to the max and then sent me home to Manhattan. But yeah, I'm flattered. That stunt, and I have it on there, they had a tribute to horror, Academy Awards, about 3 or 4 years ago. It was a whole night tributing horror. They gave that scene through the window, and an Academy Award is the best scene ever made in horror. So that rocks. That rocks hard. It rocks CJ hard. It rocks Kane Hodder hard because these are badass, tough guys. Kane, it rocks them. That is a fabulous scene in horror history. So anyway, I'm lucky and I guess to be part of that as my chapter.
That's cool.
So yeah. And then we play it again there, and every time I see it, I go, oh my God. And here comes Muffin, right? Here comes Muffin. Oh, Muffin. Boom! People still. Oh, then they come to me and they say, oh, that was the most disturbing thing in my youth. I gotta have this picture. So, that was a long answer, I'm sorry.
No, that's good. That's the story I wanted.
Oh man, as I told you before, your lifetime, your roles, and I will never forget that the rest of my life. That moment. Crazy. Next question, everybody.
I know you said, but have you ever been in any other movies?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I've done other things like, that I was reading for all kinds of great stuff. I was young, I was reading for Blue Lagoon, like hypothetically, Chris Atkins get the role. Oh shit. Then I'm reading for Endless Love. Zeffirelli puts Martin Hewitt in the role. So, you're investing a lot of time reading, trying to get stuff. And you get stuff, little things here and there. And then you get, I was in the movie Duplicity, I was in another, all kinds of little things in California, doing some soaps and stuff. Commercials, I did a ton of commercials. Leo Carrillo Beach, I had to do a Coca-Cola commercial, galloping up the beach on a horse, and I had to drink 10 Coca-Colas. You're getting sick, and you're riding a horse, and you're drinking a Coke, and it's hard. You're running around. I've lived in LA 10 years, I lived in New York 10 years. You're running around with your picture and resume trying to get in stuff. And then I wasn't aware of the fact, but there was, I'm very aware of all the men soliciting women, okay, and models and actresses. It was happening with men. And agents were representing, say, oh, you become my boyfriend and I represent you. Or if you become my boyfriend, I'll put you in this movie. That's going on. Then you're in the movie. So then finally I said, to hell with this. I got to get a real job. I get a real job. So I said, enough. We got to, enough of this driving around. In LA, you could spend 3 hours trying to get ready, do this, drive, read for something. It's a big process. And you do get lucky, you get some parts and some parts and some parts. A friend of mine raised money from a weapons dealer, Adnan Khashoggi, and then he got that money to make a movie called Time Walker. So I was in that movie, and I was a college student on the campus, Southern California, and that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun, Anyway, so now I have other aspirations of what would make me fulfilled as an artist, as a creative guy. Yeah, but anytime you want to check on anybody, just go to imdb.com, and you'll see all the things people have done. I look at it, I forgot that. I forgot that. All right, next question, and then we've covered Friday 13th.
I'll do one.
Okay, go ahead.
What was your favorite part about shooting Friday 13th? Anything, not necessarily being on camera or your scenes, but just the experience. What was your favorite part?
Listen, first of all, you're overwhelmed at the experience to get hired. You are so excited that you are part of something. Because all of us in our life, when it feels that we're part of something, whatever it is. So now I'm part of a major motion picture. I couldn't believe it. So that was the first big win. Wow, somebody wanted me to do something. Well, how exciting is that? Oh, and then in a film, and then you gain access to the union. So I gained access to Screen Actors Guild. That was a big deal. And even to this day, people always say, how do I get in the union? Can't get in the union unless you have a job. Can't get a job unless you're in the union. Oh, you got your SAG card? So look, somebody wanted me. That was overwhelming. To be part of something huge. And now all of a sudden you pack your bag and then you arrive on the set for a motion picture. We're in Kent, Connecticut, at a camp. Oh, this is great. So that was the most fun. And then you're there with all these other fun young kids. And that was exciting. Like I said before, I was the youngest Jason. I still am the youngest Jason. And so the most fun part of the whole process, I got to tell you, this stunk, because it was a challenge. You've never done anything before, and we do it for the first time. Wow. No, I hadn't jumped through a window, so that was the most fun. And then we got through that. Yeah. And then I made sure that the people in the movie had never seen me during all the makeup preparations. And then when they did see me for the first time, like in the case of Amy Steele, yeah, that girl she was dying when she saw me for the first time. Hell yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. She married a guy from Palm Beach. That's another crazy story. Yeah, so to answer your question, yeah, that was kind of it. The other scenes weren't that much fun. It was like, And then nothing is in chronological order, so you don't really know. And you don't know how they're going to piece it all together. So if I'm walking through the woods, or I'm doing this, or I'm wrestling around with somebody in a cabin, I don't really know. And this, and the chainsaw, and the kid in the bed, and it's all a blur. And like I said before, I don't know how many years ago it was. Are we agreeing it was 81? Yeah, so and then of course what makes it the most fun is what happened after my involvement. What in the hell happened when I was like, went home? Now it's a lot of fun because we're still talking about it. So that's shocking to me. So we're done with Friday 13th. Okay, how are we doing on time, Maestro?
Doing well.
Okay, I don't know where to begin with this conversation, but anyhow, my father suddenly, mysteriously dies on Friday 13th. And that's the worst news you'll ever get in your life when you lose a parent, okay? Your whole world is turned upside down. So now you're trying to react to all these circumstances that are following your way after you have a death of a parent. What? So my father had lunch, dropped dead on Friday 13th. That was shocking. Was that bad luck? What happened? He was married to an heiress and has married to her about 30 years. So after he dies, she had a new Latin lover. Off they embark on a cruise, go to Monte Carlo, and come home, and they think it's business as usual. Then in the wake of his death, they made a mess of that with me. So let's just say all of the events following the death were abominable. So in life, don't get angry, get even. So gather your soul and your spirit and make something happen. Okay? Try to create a positive out of a negative. So you get all these bad cards, fine. Gather them up. Don't be litigious. Don't go after people. Make something big happen. Try, at least. Whether you succeed or not, try. Okay? So, this whole brand is built around revenge and the death of the mother. Seemed to work for 35 years. We're still talking about it. Okay? So why don't we take a page out of Shakespeare's Hamlet book and let's create a story, Revenge for Dead. Okay? Daddy died on Friday 13th. What? Oh, the Black Widow got a Latin lover. What? Go embark to Monte Carlo, come back, and business as usual. What? So use that as inspiration to create this, right? So you got the Black Widow, and the title is called Bloody Social. Nightmare at Palm Beach. I don't know if any of you know Palm Beach, but it's a little peninsula. It's detached from the mainland of Florida. You go over either north, middle, south bridge. Trump lives a little on the other side of the south bridge, to give you an idea. Enormous concentration of wealth. There's probably 65-70% of the wealth in the United States is sitting on this island. Okay? Houses are selling on the ocean, 100 million, no problem. In terms of the issues of anti-Semitism and racism, it's outrageous. The co-founder of Standard Oil Company, John Rockefeller, well, he was the founder, was Henry Flagler. He opened up the whole railroad system that opened South Florida. He has a mansion in Palm Beach. He had a party. I know I'm digressing, but anyway, just to paint you the picture of this society. He has a party in West Palm Beach for all the black people that were working in Palm Beach on the island, and they had tenements, and they had housing, they had this. He invites them all to come over, and they're all over at the party, and he burns all the houses down. The club's there, yeah, and there guys still coming to me, talking to me still about what happened. Anyway, the racism, it's intense, their clubs. Anyway, it's severe. So part of the message of this story is we're going to create an uprising against that message, which is the very essence of where this country is today. Enough's enough. So let's anyway. So here you see a story of murder, justice, revenge, and here's the website. Pretty easy to remember. BloodySocialMovie.com. And this is interesting. These little flowers here are called the oleander. And we believe this was the murder weapon that the Black Widow used to whack her husband. Put the oleander in somebody's drink, they'll have a heart attack. Out. So, in the preparation, you know what's really hard is to, I don't know if you've ever tried it, but writing a screenplay is hard. Like in life, you never really respect something until you try to do it yourself. So here I get final draft out. I'm like going through the process, and I'm writing a screenplay. So a screenplay is a setup, like what is the setup? And then you have a confrontation, and then you have a resolution. Okay, what is the dramatic need? Why are you watching it? So the setup of Bloody Social were the actual things that happened that we discussed. The confrontation is when then it digresses, and Jason is a sympathetic vigilante. You will love him, and he will be getting revenge over the death of the father, and he's going to be whacking these conspirators that played a role in whacking his father. So these black hearts that I told you, and the beautiful blue waters of the Atlantic Ocean and the white sandy beaches will run blood red. Got that? If we are right with this that I'm telling you, and I know I'm going to be right because I've talked to a lot of people about it, and everybody says, make it happen. I've been around Blair Witch is created, this is created, paranormal created. These are all dreams of people. Blair Witch, forget it. Blair Witch has grossed $200 million. Get Out, okay? Jordan Peele movie Get Out, that's like number 3 on the board at like $400 million. What was the message of Get Out? Some of the messages that we just discussed. So listen, let's create a dramatic thriller nightmare. The setting is in Trump's backyard. The timing is perfect. America's ready for it. So that's my journey now with Bloody Social. The budget for this is significant. I think we can make it in the 3, 4, 5 range. I don't want to make a piece of crap because it's not worth my time. I don't want to make something for 10 or 20, 30 grand and then take it to horror conventions and play it on the screen and say, here's my movie. No, let's do this first class so we don't do it. Go up to Sharon Stone, attach her for 100 grand. Hi, Sharon, here's 100. You want to play the Black Widow? Attach her for 50. Has she got a lot of work now? No, find a middle-aged woman, 55, and give her the money, attach her. Then you take that, then you go raise the money. And it'll be beautiful like Ocean's 11. You'll set up a wedding in Monte Carlo, and then the wedding night on a beautiful yacht. They're going to come home, and all hell's going to break loose. Because why? Jason's not putting up with it. Jason is coming. And whether you have a tainted money manager, he's a polo patron, he's going to go whack. You have a tainted lawyer, he's going to go. You have a tainted coroner. They refuse to do an autopsy, which, by the way, if you find somebody dead in your house and they were in good health prior to you finding them dead, an autopsy is mandatory by the medical examiner. So why was there no autopsy when one was required by law? My father keels over at 2:30 after lunch. You know, when they called 911 at 9:30 at night, well, what the hell are you doing from 2:30 to 9:30? And he's on the floor with a stroke or whatever he has, a heart attack. Anyway, listen, like I said, we're going to take a negative, make it positive. This thing will fly. And that's part of my journey because I got a lot of things I'm trying to accomplish. But for me in this business, I want to take a page out of the other creative people and say, you know what, there's no reason why we can't make this happen. There's no reason. Visualize it and go through the process. We have a script, we have budgets, we're ready to go. So for you all, this is kind of an interesting idea I thought of. It could be cool. I'm sure you all are familiar with Zoom right now. So if any of you want to be part of a reading, I could put 20, 30 people together on a Zoom call. Then I could assign you a part. And then you will see on the screen the script, where I get it to you beforehand. You can think about it. And then we read the script. And then I get friends and fans to read it, to play part. I got a part for you. You read. And then I get feedback from you. Okay, so we could do a reading that could be fun. There's all kinds of dynamic things going on here. There's Greek mythology and symbolism and witchcraft. The best friend of the Black Widow is a bruja. Bruja del amor, that's a love witch. So there's dynamic things going on. The dog, the best friend of my father was a dog, so he's like a great hero in the movie and does some great things. There's all kinds of imagery, mythological things having meaning, and we're delivering a message to this society. Okay, so let's go back. So I'm going to set up this reading because I've had other readings before, and it helps me as a writer to put this together, and then I hear it, and then I get feedback from you, or from you. And you can tell me what you like, what you don't like, and then I hear you read. You read the Black Widow. What would you sound like? What would the words be coming out of your mouth if you were living in this society and you had a new Latin lover? And you're 55 and your Latin lover's 25, and what are you thinking? And you're rich and you're racist. What kind of words come out of your mouth? And the young girls and the Latin lover. And there's Spanish things going on here. So anyway, that could be fun. If you all want to be involved in a reading, that could be cool for fun. And we could set that up. If anybody would like to be a partner in this thing at any level, I think there are laws about how many partners you could have in a brand. I think in the state of Florida, it's a Florida production, let's just say you could have 100 partners. Then those partners could throw in whatever they wanted to, and then we figure out what I would own as a creator developer, and then the remaining balance are owned by the partners. The same way we opened up a restaurant, a bar, a nightclub, whatever this partnership is doing. So I'm going to have to sell a partnership to make this an indie film, an LLC, LLP. And the partners will own 50, 60, 70. Generally, the old Hollywood style of financing movies is the partners, if all of you put up the money, you're going to own 50%. The creator's going to have on the other side 50, and he will give points out of that to talent. So let's say you had Sharon Stone, she said, oh yeah, okay, I want this much money and I want 3 points. Or Tom Cruise says, I want 10 points. Everybody wants points, right, in the movie? Okay, that's fine. And you allocate points. But anyway, look, we will put together this partnership and we will make it, and that's a big part of my journey to try to accomplish a goal. I don't care about selling real estate in Palm Beach, sure. A friend of mine just brought a client in. He bought the house, he's married to Stephanie Seymour, just bought a house owned by Al Tom and he made $1 million. Sure, if that happens, great. But you know what? This thing could gross $100 million. This could kick off a video game. Do you have any idea the numbers of Grand Theft Auto? Do you have any idea? Grand Theft Auto 1, 2, people pay, by the way, $100 for the game. If Bloody Social became an interactive game, you're talking about building a brand. Everything's merchandising. And it's a miracle we're able to sell Friday 13th merchandise here, and the studios aren't getting royalties, because they don't really care. But if I started making t-shirts, start selling them on a large scale, you'd have to have a license with Warner Brothers for you to sell and distribute merchandise with Friday 13th brand on it. Hats, shirts, if I want to get them go to order at Target for Jason 2 shirts. And I've created graphics and all this. So my head is thinking, yeah, let's thinking merchandising. Maybe a dangerous perfume for dangerous women. Ooh, Bloody Social perfume. Or a drink. Is that girl so damn smart that made Skinny Girl Martini and flogged that up for $200 million? Is Bethany Frankel that smart? Or can't we be that smart? Or what does the Kardashian girl know about cosmetics? When I was a child, I'm seeing Estee Lauder all the time. That woman knew business. That woman built a multi-billion-dollar company. Does this Kardashian girl know anything about cosmetics? And she's a billionaire? Really? You buy cosmetics. I mean, come on. Who's smarter than Estee Lauder? Now, that's one of my hero women. Great, great woman. Anyhow, the point of what I'm saying is that it's a wide open door. So let's take the experience we've had. We were lucky enough to be part of Friday 13th. Lucky. We were so lucky in the next years it became a huge brand. Oh, God. How lucky was that? Now take that and say, you know what, that's inspiration. We gotta make something else happen. Because we gotta live in the future, not talk about what we've done. It's like, let's talk about what we're going to do. You see? So anyway, I've talked a lot to you all. You all are fabulous. Thank you for being here during this insane pandemic. God, we're here, we're doing our best, and I'm grateful for all the support. You guys come by my table and you buy stuff. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to Bill to have me here in Days of the Dead. And it's been a lot of fun. So you guys can ask me now any questions about Bloody Social. Oh, and there's one thing that's really important. In the United States, you can't accuse somebody of a crime. That's called libel. You cannot accuse somebody of doing something that's a felony, because they will sue you. You could get sued for defamation of character, but then you'd have to prove, like Johnny Depp's trying to prove, how did that hurt you and how did that harm you from getting more business? But I'm accusing my stepmother of murder. Now, the good news is the bitch is dead. So now she can't sue me. This is good. And then I was piping off a lot. This has been widely reported on. We've had 10 stories in the New York Post, above the fold, page 6. Jason this, Jason that. Jason murder in Palm Beach, Jason this. It's been in books, bestseller books that Disney put out. Madness on the Royal Palms, they're talking about me and they're talking about this. In front of millions of people are reading about this, and I'm clearly accusing her of murder. Now, why didn't she ever sue me? Why didn't she ever say? And the reason I mention it to you is because if you own part of a project and it's dealing with somebody who possibly killed their husband, they're going to sue you and put an injunction on your movie and stop it. And you could never get E&O insurance policy binding your project if it had that cloud following it. So I kind of sat on the sidelines and I had to wait for her to die. Thank God she just did die. And this is a crazy part of the story. I don't need to bore you tight, but there's so much craziness going on in Friday 13th. I already told you my father drops dead on Friday 13th. Now the woman, the Black Widow, she had a son. He wasn't happy with his life, so he goes and jumps off a building in Palm Beach on Friday 13th. And I walked into that building and I saw the penthouse condo in the damn building. I walked in, they all knew who I was. Son, you know, you Warrington's life. Oh yeah. I went outside and your stepbrother was in a heap on the pavement. Anyway, there's so many crazy things going on around the number 13, around the goddamn Friday 13 and this and that. And that is woven into the story. There are things popping up, so I'm gonna use as much as I can off the brand until who calls me and tells me to stop. Right now, Friday 13th's on hold. All they do is argue with each other. And Victor Miller, he rode, and Sean Cunningham to this.
You gotta be more quiet. I'm down here trying to sleep in the
Oh!
and you're over here damn.
Aren't you a Jason? Are you? I think you're the biggest Jason.
How do you get all that information out at one time?
Oh man. Well, we split this in 2 parts. We talked about the past, and now we're talking about the future.
You talking about the hay?
No, we're not talking about
You
it.
gotta hear about the business with the hay. You talking about your movie?
Yeah, we're talking about it.
Yeah, okay.
Hopefully everybody here's not too bored. So you guys can hit me with a question.
All right, I'm gonna go over here. I just want, God, I'm down here. I'm like, what the hell?
You can hit me with a question. Gorgeous woman, you got a pencil in your forehead. Yeah, hit me with a question. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Hit me with a bloody question you got, and then we'll move on to the next story. No questions on this. You could say to me, it's not possible, Warrington. You'll never raise the money, and it's impossible.
Right on here we go.
Yes.
So were you an only child other than your stepbrother?
That's a good question. I have a dysfunctional family, but I have an older sister and then a younger half brother. We don't talk too much. But the family didn't really create us to be such a close-knit family. It was involving, money and people fighting over money, which they do in this country, and divorces. There was a whole lot of horses and divorces from where I'm from. So yeah, I don't really have siblings behind me in this matter. My mother is still going strong though.
I was getting ready to say.
Mom is going like a house of fire. She's good, and I got a picture of her on my Instagram. Happy Mother's Day, and I got her like that.
And
She's
do
a
you-
beauty.
do you have-
Great woman, great life.
Do you have any children?
I do, and he's on my Instagram page. I have a son, he's 24. He's Swedish Viking son. You look Swedish. So he's in Sweden. We had to get him the hell out of the United States because he was getting crazy and the pandemic was coming. So I sent him to Sweden, out on the Baltic Sea to chill till this thing calms down. So please, you all can talk to me on Instagram. You can go on the website here and talk to me. Very easy to remember, bloodysocialmovie.com. They tell you, or Warrington at bloodysocialmovie.com. And you give me some feedback. I welcome it. And if you want to follow the project, and I'm looking for partners, you might have some ideas in that direction. If not, that's fine, because we're on the journey anyhow. If you want to participate in reading, we'll figure out a time on Zoom, and then we'll get all these folks patched in. You'll see the script. You'll be assigned a character, Victoria, and you can feel the vibe, and other folks will hear it, and that could be fun, because people could be part of a project that we are developing. And then I learn from your feedback, and then we make it better. A script is generally 120, 130 pages. Okay, it's like a page a minute. So if somebody says to you, I got 120 pages, we're gonna go through, easy arithmetic, I'm good. That's a 2-hour movie. If it's 100 pages, fine. You were telling a story in pictures. So we want you to go through it, you're gonna figure out what's happening. The viewer figures it out as it's going. On stage, they're trying to act out everything, explain everything, and do everything. No, the movie, you're gonna figure out what the hell's going on. But anyway, that would be valuable, that could be fun, and you could be part of a project, that's going, and then hopefully the pandemic kind of slows up, and then hopefully things will go back into production, and we'll make it happen. So again, thank you all for coming and supporting Days of the Dead, and all your support. It's been fabulous, and I'm grateful.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Warrington.
Yeah, you guys are great. You guys are great. Thank you.
Make sure you guys stop by his table, get an autograph, and also stop by his website, bloodysocialmovie.com.
Okay, guys.